Welcome to the Art of Lifting podcast. Today we are joined by Kjell Bakkelund. Did you want to just introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, hey, sure. My name is Kjell Bakkelund, and I'm an international powerlifter in the 66 now. Yeah.
Brilliant. So you've been powerlifting for a long time. Your first comp on open powerlifting is from 2007. I was intrigued how you actually got into powerlifting in the first place.
I think that I just wanted to get into just try something else. Like I tried soccer, I tried gymnastics, football, and I was just really bad at it. And just by starting lifting weights, it was something I could manage real well. And we were talking in a forum about national records, and I saw that I was really close to a record, or I thought I was, right? Because I was training in the gym, people were spotting me or helping me, maybe 20 kilos. Yeah, you never know, right? And so I thought that it would be easy. I think it took me 3 or 4 years to get my first record. So yeah, I think it was the record that just gave me an insight that maybe this is something I want to do. And here I am, almost 18 years later.
No, that's brilliant. I think a lot of people have that when they first read the records, gym lifts, you think you're really close. I remember before I started competing or anything, the gym I trained at was a hotel gym. It didn't have a squat rack. It just had a Smith machine. So I was squatting heavy on a Smith machine, and I think I squatted about 170 kilos on this Smith machine. And I was like, oh, well, the British record's like 180 kilograms. I could do this. And then I think I squatted 90 kilograms when I tried free weight squatting for the first time. Slightly different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I also think that the first gym that I started at, they didn't have a squat rack as well. They only had a Smith machine. And the people who did squat was like, who's those idiots? Just do bench. So yeah, things have changed a little since then.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned you did other sports before that. So you said you weren't very good at the other sports before that. Were you quite a sporty kid anyway, or were you just try different things, didn't enjoy them because you weren't good at them?
I think it was a mix because I've never had any like drive really to like not in school, not in any sports. I just did it because my friends did it. When I was doing cross country skiing, I thought more about the people coming behind me than just to try to go as fast as possible. And soccer, I would just like 130 high and 35 kilos. You can't really do that much then. So yeah, I think it was really hard because there was nothing that really motivating me. So the only thing I didn't do it for so long either because you have to feel some kind of achieving anything, but I really didn't. So then I just started to start gaming instead, and that was better. So I just went from gaming for many years and then just started to lifting, and just felt that this is my thing.
That's cool. So what actually got you into the gym then? Was it just from your other sports that you were trying, you were in the gym, or did you just join a gym to see what it was like?
I think that like people like Arnold and the bodybuilders from the old school, I think that muscles and strength has always been something that really I think it's really, really fun. It's really intriguing. So I think it was that. I think it was like everyone else, right? That they watched Pumping Iron and then they just wanted to be the same and thought that it would be easy.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you said obviously you were kind of chasing down national records before you kind of fully understood powerlifting, before you kind of started lifting to standard and stuff. So do you think just because you saw those numbers and you saw them as achievable, that's what drove you from the beginning? That's what made you continue?
Yeah, I think so. And that's like kind of the wrong way to start, right? Because I still remember the first mail I sent to the club. Like think I wrote something like, "Oh, I have 170 squat, 170 bench, 200 deadlift. Is this good enough to join the club?" And it really doesn't matter what you do when you start, right? It's matter what you can do in term of years. So it was uh, kind of weird to come there and just to see that there were so many serious guys, right, who was training. This time it was equipped, so you had like one guy who was lifting, and you had 15 guys who were there just to help. So it was so fun to just see how important it was for everyone else that you did good.
Yeah, that's really cool. We're going to touch on the equipped side in a second, but did you just say your squat and your bench were the same when you first started?
And the squat was high. This was really, really high. I think that the first program I got on the secondary squat, it was like 37.5 kilos for 6. So yeah, I didn't start strong at all.
I think a 170 bench is a very good start, but you're
Yeah,
naturally
the
kind of
bench was
better at
good.
bench, do you think?
Yeah, bench has always been good. When I was 5 years old, I could do push-ups with my friend on my back. Like, so the chest has always been strong. So that wasn't really the problem. The problem was my back, my legs, and I think that for the deadlift and for the bench, it's just come. But the bench has come really natural. The deadlift used to more time, but the legs has always been a problem. It I haven't been working so hard to get them strong, and still there are. Yeah, my bench and deadlift is world class, and my squat is like good under.
So with equipped powerlifting, I mean, definitely. I mean, back then I think it was much bigger anyway, but I think in Europe generally equipped powerlifting is still pretty big. You started equipped, is that right?
Yeah, there wasn't anything else, so um, I don't think. I think the Raw started in 2012. I think the first World Cup. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. So when I think it was also the people who started the Raw was like they were really like, yeah, this is the real thing. You're just cheating, and yeah, it was just. But I was one of the guys who was trying to protect the quick lifting. So when they tried to get the Raw lifting up, I was like, no, 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 we don't need it. It's only idiots who does that. And yeah, look at me now.
So you did obviously you've achieved a lot within the equipped side and the raw side, but equipped side you won world games if I'm not mistaken as well. And like with equipped, do you think it's something you would ever go back to, or are you sticking to raw now? Do you think?
I don't think I ever will be back. It's I watch the Worlds now equipped, and it's weird that it feels like it's 10 years ago since I was lifting with the suits, and I just don't have time for it anymore, and I really don't want the pain either. It's all the raw lifters saying like, "Oh, you get 70 kilo more from the squat suit, so it's easy." It's not. It's so much harder than all the classic lifting, but yeah, I don't have time, and I really don't have that much interest for it anymore. And I really love to watch it and help with it and everything like that. But it's so much easier to just go in my basement and just start squatting.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with equipped that a lot of people maybe don't realize is it is a team. Like you need a team around you.
Yeah,
I think Tony Cliff, like in this country, I think like when he does go through equipped training, like he'll train alone at home in equipment, and everyone's like, how? Obviously, he's done it for so long, but it's just a
yeah,
crazy thing that he just does that on his own. And I think I've seen obviously you've got a very busy schedule, you've got a family, you work full time and things, you coach as well. I would assume fitting in time to go and train with a team of powerlifters in equipment probably isn't going to work with your schedule now anyway.
yeah. I could have probably done it because my coach is an equipped like equipped coach, and yeah, he would be at the gym 7 hours for me if that was the case. So I can if I want to, but seeing everything with the raw, everything that is happening, Sheffield, everything like that, it's so intriguing. It's so yeah. There's no way I will go back. I don't think so.
So is Sheffield one of the main things that drew you back to classic?
Let's see, 2023. Yeah, I was at the Sheffield with Bonica as a coach back then, and I think it. I was so surprised of how amazing it was. Right, like I lifted at World Games in 2022. That was the biggest thing I've ever seen, right? And this was like 100 times bigger.
Really?
So yeah. Because and even like lifting as a light lifter, there may be 20 people there, right? Who's sharing. So it's not the same push. It's not the same. Yeah, Sheffield is like something completely different. And I don't think that I went back because of Sheffield, because I didn't think that that was possible to be a part of. My strength was so far behind the world record at that time, and I really didn't thought that I had the potential. So I think that just by going back, they were just for fun, right? Really, just to see where am I, and got to fourth place at in Malta, and I wasn't that far behind. So that started a spark, and also not winning also started a spark.
That was actually something I wanted to ask you as well, because I know you put a lot on your total when you switched back to classic from your first comp back, and then obviously to now, and you like pushed the world record up as well before Austin Perkins came over, and that was like a big part of kind of your storyline within returning. Did you not think that when you first switched back, was that not kind of the goal? Was it just see where I am? And then I guess you got hungrier and more competitive as you started to see that progress.
Yeah, I think the first like for the maybe for the last 7-8 years, my motivation has been really low for the sport. I've just been doing it, but it hasn't been that important for me. But after looking at I think it was the European in 2022 in Poland, I did like 692 total. Everyone that I've beaten before did beat me. I got fifth place or fourth place or something. And just when I lift really bad and really like I'm really at the bottom, something happens inside me and I get so much stronger. So after that, I was like, okay, now I just have to focus. I have to train more, not one time a week anymore, not maybe one session every 2 weeks. Just started to focus and did so much better at Worlds. Still, I needed to do something more. We had to change something up. And after that, Worlds from Worlds in June to December was Europeans.
Yeah,
I did like 40 kilo more or something. So then I just started. I stopped with equipped and just 100% on the raw. Had 3 to 4 sessions a week, and yeah, it was amazing.
yeah. The progress speaks for itself, and I think as well, it has made powerlifting even more exciting. Like with all the Americans coming back over, like it's just. I think there's been a massive rise, like with Durins and GB, like with so many different lifters. Like the standard has risen because you want to prove a point. It's that competitive drive. Make yourself like prove that you belong there still, and obviously you've done that. We will talk obviously about Sheffield and your goals for Sheffield and the cut and everything, but when you first then switched back, so what was your training split like? And I wanted to ask if that's changed a lot since you've been cutting for comp, since you've changed your calories. Obviously you're eating a lot less than you were. I wondered if you'd changed your training around to fit that to help with recovery or not, or if you're kind of just training the same.
I think we're doing almost the same. Doing 4 sessions a week, like 3. How much is it? 3-day squats, 2-day deadlift, and bench 4 times. And we have like every second week we go up to like RP 8 or up, right? And the other session doesn't really matter so much for me. It's just the volume work and just try to do the movements. But just going heavy that every second week really does so much for me, because when we did equip, we never did that. We always trained sub maximal all the time. So just by pushing, like on week 1 we push 210, and next week and 210 feels heavy, but in 2 weeks again we push 220, 225 maybe. That feels heavy, but you know that in 2 weeks you will go higher, right? And we did that in all three, and then just kept on working. And I can feel that the recovery time is longer now. So if I do a really really heavy session, it takes some time. But either than that, it really isn't any changes, and I don't feel weaker anyway. So just the recovery is worse, but the strength is really good and it's holding up really good.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you say you kind of go heavy every other week, because I think that's quite uncommon, at least in the way a lot of people I follow train. I think that's really interesting. Do you think that helps you kind of stay acclimatized to those loads as well? And do you typically do that year round? Like, do you feel fairly strong year round, like continue building year round, or do you have periods that are a little bit lighter?
This time I needed to slow down a little because I think it was 6, 8 weeks ago, we went up to 825, and we could have pushed for one more like cycle to go more up. But for first, I don't really need to push that much for the Sheffield. And just thinking about injuries and everything like that, it's not worth it. So I think this was smarter to just go a little down, try to think about this is in the long run, right? So I need more time to just train at normal weights as well. I can't push all. Maybe I can, but it's not worth it. I did the same to Worlds, and then we pushed too hard, and then I didn't reach my goal. So this time I'm going to be smarter.
Yeah, I think as well, realistically, if you're holding on to this much strength and are you 70-ish kilograms at the moment? So you're still
Yes,
fairly close.
69.5.
Yeah, so you're a cut away from 66. You don't necessarily need 825 to win Sheffield. You probably need quite a lot less than that. So actually, you can take your foot off the gas a little bit. Just make sure you stay healthy, and then you could still potentially win without having to go all out. The next thing I want to touch on was your decision to cut to 66, because I remember hearing you say on podcasts in the past that you enjoy eating, and you used to, after comps as a 74, get up to the 80s, I believe. And I wondered how you found the cut from 74 down to 66 versus how you used to cut from around 80, 82, I don't know what you used to weigh, down to 74. Like, is it just as difficult? Is it harder? How has it been?
I think it's harder now because I have to do it for a longer time, and it's more important, really. But like I think it was in September, no, from June last year, I weighed like 73 on the day, and 3 days later I was 79. And then I went up to 84, 85, and then I went down from September to December. So yeah, I really enjoy eating, and just I'm really like fatty, so I want to weigh 150 kilos, but I had to restrain myself. So I think it's harder now, but it's manageable. I think the hardest point for me was when I realized that I will make it. When I came down to 70, I was like, I can make it. And then maybe we have some friends over, maybe, and life happens, right? Because family, friends want to do something. They have buns when they come over. They have some chocolate, they have chips, and they're like, it's really hard to not eat anything when it's there. So if I could choose again, I should go to like Russia or something, just to be in the training camp and just eat the same, drink the same. That would be perfect. But I will manage. But I did. It wasn't like I didn't think it would be hard, but because the training and the nutrition ain't that really hard, really. But it's hard with the family life. It's hard with everything that comes around.
Yeah, and food is such a social thing as well, like you've said. Like, food is a social thing. I feel like the cut for Sheffield is so important when you've made this decision, and like you said, now you know it's actually doable, it is achievable, it's not just some dream. It's almost like you can't go off track now, and that almost makes like, I always think whenever I'm cutting for competition, And I know about 10 weeks out, I dial everything in, and it's obviously not the same cut that you have to do, but it's like from those 10 weeks, I feel so restricted in my mind because mentally I know I have to do it. But the rest of the year, I'll eat the same and I won't think anything of it because it's like it's not as much pressure. It's not as important. It's because you know you can't have that it then makes it harder. But I mean, you're where you need to be, I assume. I think I've heard you say before the plan is to stay around 69 and then cut from there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. So we're really close to it. So yeah, it's what is it? 73 days now until the meet, and yeah, those days will go fast. So I'm just ready to explode.
Have you practiced the cut down to 66, or are you just gonna you've obviously walked cut before for 74? So
Yeah, I've done water cuts for 9 years or something, so I'm pretty used to it. But we're going to try a test run, maybe in end of November or start of December, just to try it out. So, but the problem with my water cuts is that when I'm at the hotel alone, the water cut is no problem, right? But when I'm going to the kindergarten at work and everything, and I have to drink 7 liters of water, it's really hard. It's something else.
what do you do for work? I know you coach as well, but you have a full-time job as well, is that right?
Yeah, I work at the pharmaceutical warehouse. So yeah, we're doing the export out of the country. So there's a lot of lifting, like really manual job.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's 10,000 steps a day at least, and yeah, it's hard work, but it's okay. It's really good to just have something else than just lifting all the time. I worked as a personal trainer for many years, and there's so much training. Everything is training, everything is coached, and like it's good to have something else to think about.
I like that you said that. I think that's really important for people because people that essentially become full-time athletes, it is all you think about, and it's hard to recover when you're constantly thinking about, especially if you're maybe going through a phase where things don't feel as good. You then stress and you're worrying about training and you're not going to recover as well. Where I guess when you're at work or when you're spending time with your family, you're not thinking about training. You're completely switched off. Apart from maybe the fact that you've got to obviously watch what you're eating and stuff, you can just completely forget about powerlifting for that time, and that will help you then recover. And then when you do train, I guess it's time for yourself.
Yeah, it's true. So I'm trying to. My training is around this hour, right? So I'm kind of cooked from from the day, but yeah, if I couldn't do it at this time, or I have a gym at home, I couldn't do this. So for now, in this time of life with so small children, it's okay. Yeah.
So I also had a little look back on your open powerlifting, and I saw that you started as an 82.5, 83. Did you ever have a point in time where you decided to cut to 74 to be more competitive, kind of like what you've done with the 66's this time? Or did you just decide to become a 74 because you knew it was doable?
Yeah, I think the thing about me that I want challenges. I really don't go away from it. I always tried to like just by going from equipped to classic. It's to get more challenge. Um, and yeah, I was 83 for many years, almost 10 years, and I wanted to try something new. I was a high bar squatter. I was a quick lifter. And I wanted to try classic lifting. I also wanted to try the low bar. Came back to that to go to the international phase of the raw lifting, and it worked out really fine. I was, yeah, my first meet was Worlds 2017. Then I beat Taylor, and after I did that, I was like, okay, this isn't so big. Equipped was bigger, was more challenging. But of course, after that, he went apeshit and was completely, yeah, unbelievable. So yeah, I think it's just to try to get new challenges. That's the same with 66. I'm not going to go down to 59, but I was thinking about 66 for many years, but I really don't have. I didn't have the motivation to do it. I wouldn't do this for a 66 spot at Worlds. So it had to be Sheffield. So that was the plan all along, right? If I get an invite, I will do that. Last year, when I was a reserve, I didn't have time. But last year, I could have won in the 74.
Yeah. Do you think going as a reserve, obviously you were there with Bonica the first year, you got to go there as a reserve last year, and I'm sure you would have preferred to be competing, but do you think that's also helped you with your drive for this next one, because you know you're definitely competing, you've seen it? Do you think it's also helped you maybe mentally prepare for what it's going to be like as well? Because I know people that have competed there before have said, you know, it is a shock when you first walk out. It's so noisy, it's so loud. And do you think that's helped you prepare for this time so that you're not going to be as shocked by those things?
I hope that I got the shock in 2023 when I went out when as a coach, and it was so insane. It was like, this is so much more than from any other meets, and I think that I really don't know if I will get used to it, but there've been so many times that there've been so much pressure. Like we had 2 worlds in Norway when everyone was thought that I could have won, and I did. So having a big championship in, like, not my hometown, but in my home country, I think that is more pressure than this. But still, it will be pressure. But I know that every time I have pressure, lift better. So I'm really looking forward to it.
It's going to be really exciting. Who would you say is your biggest competitor for this year's Sheffield?
I have to say Kasim Sand and Perk is the biggest ones.
Yeah. I think since your announcement, Kasim Sand's been posting a lot of good lifts. I think there's that extra motivation there. Do you, like, when it comes to training then, so are you more motivated by what you think you're capable of, or are you more motivated by seeing what other people can do? Like, do you get motivated seeing, say, like when Perk started hitting the mid 800s as a 74, like, was that something, and Taylor obviously, was that something that made you think that's possible for you as well? Or was it just you started getting stronger and you thought, oh, I'm also here? Like, did that drive you to push more?
I think that not so much from Perk, because Taylor already did it. I think that in 2019, Taylor did 790.5 and I did 730 or something. At that time, I gave up the roll lifting a little, and I think at that time I just thought that, okay, he's too far away. I can't reach him. It's not possible. But when I came back or that I thought about the roll lifting again, and Taylor did 838, he showed that it's possible, right? Yeah. Just by not doing 790 but 838. So after he did that, 800 was big because it was a round number. I don't know, but after that, I was just thinking, okay, now let's go for 850. So yeah, I think it helps when someone shows it's possible, because the world records, it's just something we focus on, not it's not numbers that we can shatter, right? So, but now I think I can do it, right? Now it's a little different. I'm not afraid of the world records, but when people lift in a different, like we have Garcia in the 66, who is a really good squatter. He's really exceptional. The same with Eddie in the bench. So of course those records looks a little scary, but there's no reason I can't do them too.
Yeah. Is the bench record one that you are eyeing up for Sheffield? Is that one you think you're going to push for?
I really hope for all 4 records, really.
That'd be a lovely payday.
Yeah, it would. My wife will be really happy for that.
Do you think you'll stay 66 once Sheffield's done? Are you enjoying being lighter, or do you think just for your lifestyle you'll probably go back up?
I think I will be in 66. There will be some meets I will try to do this year. I will hope for the Arnold in March. And then we have Worlds. I will go 66 for the Sheffield next year. But at World Games, I have to be 74 or 66.1. But I think most of my meets will not be in the 66, only the important ones. And I'll just be a really light 74. Uh, because, yeah, it's, or I really don't know. I don't know how hard it will be to go down each meet, but in my lifestyle, it's better to weigh a little more.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think in yourself, I know you've said that obviously you do love your food, and I think I've heard you say before, like your quality of food before wasn't great either, which obviously now, in order to fuel yourself, you're having to eat a lot more, I'm assuming, whole foods and just better quality of foods. Do you feel
Yeah,
better in
100%.
yourself for making that change? Maybe not necessarily with the restriction that comes with it, but just from eating those sorts of foods. Do you feel better in yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I think that most of my increase in power now is probably from eating better. I use food now to fuel my body, right? Instead of just eating a kilo of chips because I can, right? So yeah, it's completely different now. It's probably the nutrition that is most of the gains now.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And I think nutrition, like I'm really interested in the nutrition side of things. And I think there's such an emphasis on it over the last couple of years as well. I think more and more top level lifters, obviously, you know, working with nutrition coaches. And I think when people, like I was listening, I don't know if you've listened to it yet. Pan, I had a podcast on King of the List the other day, and he was saying about you cutting to just, have you listened to that one yet?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And
when
no, carry on.
When I heard that he was on, right? I think Ryan put it out on Friday or something that Panna will be out on Monday. And I was just refreshing the Spotify all day long to like, when is it out? When is it out? But I really want to hear what he said because I haven't heard nothing from Panna right after the news come out, and that's okay. Now I'm a competitor, right? But that he's not seeing me as a competitor. That like, oh, I can't go down to 66, then I can go down to 59. Like, he's 20 centimeters taller than me, probably. Like, how can he be 59 and is lean as fuck? So why is he talking about 59? That's just stupid. But he can think what he wants. I think that it really motivates me that he doesn't think that I will be the perk of the 66.
Yeah. So one thing I thought when we were talking about the quality of food and stuff, that's when that just popped into my head because I was thinking to myself, like, obviously the point he's made was, for anyone that hasn't listened, you've not competed as a 66 yet. So you need to make weight first and then obviously do what you do on the platform. And you've already said you're going to do a trial cut just to see how things go anyway. You used to cut for the 74s. And I was wondering if basically because the quality of your food is so much better now anyway, you probably feel better at this weight than you would have before you'd cut to 74 anyway. So realistically, you're potentially going to feel better on the platform, even though you will be that much leaner, that much lighter. You're probably going to feel better in yourself because you've done things a little bit more properly, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%. After I got Kedrick helping me, it's a completely different game. I feel I have so much. It's really it's a done thing that I fucked up on the way to Worlds, so we couldn't really show that I could have done like 830, 840 total. But after Kedrick joined in, it's completely different. I think I showed that at the Arnold's, and I will show that at Sheffield too. That even if I go down to 66, I feel so much better now than I did weighing 78. Because when I weigh 78, 80, I'm not strong at all. I'm stronger the closer I get to 74, probably because I'm eating better and everything like that. And even if I'm 70 kilos and Pana is 66, he's so much leaner than I am at the same body weight. So it's different. When I'm 66, of course I will be lean, but I don't think it would be the biggest problem. We will get down. And I think it would be really weird that if he thinks I will lift 680 if I go down, that would be the world record in how much gain or how much can you lose in gains on 3-4 kilo body weight.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah. Do you, like, obviously this isn't aimed at the 66s currently, but do you think the record is quite low for them? Like, do you think this is going to be similar to with when Taylor hit that 830-ish, when he first broke through that barrier? Like, this obviously proved that it's possible, and then more and more people are now in the 800s and they're pushing that record in the 74. Do you think this is essentially going to open the door for the 66s? Like, do you think the current record, which I think is about 710-ish, do you think that's quite a low record for the 66?
Yeah, it's kind of low, but still people haven't raised the record for so many years anyway. But I think that after I lift at Sheffield now and Custom Sound as well, knowing that I'm coming, I think that will raise the standard of everyone. I think that this is what the 66 class needs. And let's, for example, say that I do around 780 to 800. I think that will make people come up to 740, 750 so much faster. So, but I want everyone to come. I really hope that panel lifts. I want Jonathan Garcia there. I want everyone there because I love competition and I want it at the biggest stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, let them come. Please, panel, come.
Well, I think he said on the podcast, even if he doesn't get to compete on the stage, he's going to do a heavy SVD day around that time anyway. So even though it's not going to be the same conditions, it'd be really interesting to see what he puts up. Like, he's competitively driven. He said it before. And I think you moving down is going to elevate the class anyway, and also bring more eyes to the class. Like, he's done a really good job of bringing eyes to the 66s, and this is just going to build that even more.
Yeah, let them weigh 70 kilos and just try to beat what I do at Sheffield. Yeah. Go for it.
No, it's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to see, I mean, everyone at Sheffield anyway, but I think it'd be really interesting to see how this all plays out, obviously. And if you say you're probably going to stay at 66 for Wilds as well, then I think the 66s this year just gone was maybe not the 8. I think the 83s are the best to watch as someone from Britain, but the 66s were obviously so exciting as well. Like, they were one of the best classes to watch this year. What's that going to be like this next year coming up with all of you guys in there together as well, trying to prove a point of what you can all do.
Yeah.
So I had a couple more questions. I wondered if you have a highlight of your lifting career so far, and that can be classic and or equipped. I just wondered what maybe the highlights were so far for you.
I think the highlights has to be I think it will be Europeans, just to show that I think that put me on the map again, from being one of the best equipped lifters, and to show everyone there that this is it's not Perk, but it's not that far away either. And so I think the Europeans in 23.
Yeah, that was Estonia.
Yeah. And I think World Games, because the pressure and everything like that, was one of them as well. And it's kind of weird, because every time you get something, a new medal, maybe when I do Sheffield now, that would be the greatest. And maybe in 5 years, and I can do Sheffield again and win that would be the greatest. So, like, you never know, but I think we're probably the 800, the World Games, and I think maybe the last Worlds we had in Norway, because I came in to meet like one of the best lifters ever in equipped, Oleg Yaroslav, and I didn't get any of my squats, but my last squat got overturned, like with one. So I think that was kind of a special, because I was that if I didn't win, or if I didn't get to compete, or bomb out, that would be the end of my career. I was like, if I bomb out here, I would just quit. So had so much left, right, and I overturned it, and I kept on going. And now, 2 3 years later, I can do Sheffield. I can win Sheffield. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think that's really, really amazing. I was going to ask as well, what was Wild Games like? Because it's being played up as a very big spectacle. Obviously, that it's the first year classic's going to be in there. It's a huge achievement for everyone that's been selected, and I'm sure it will be an amazing competition. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of it until powerlifting was in the World Games. um, I just wondered what it was actually like. Like, obviously, it's a huge achievement, and that side of it can't be taken away. But is it? You said Sheffield was more of a spectacle, maybe. But what was the actual atmosphere like? What was the environment like? What was it like? You stayed in an athlete camp, is that right?
Yeah, I think that the competition of itself, it's really close to a world competition, close to that standard. But the thing about World Games is everything around, like in the athlete camps, and you can go more crazy places. Like now with China, it's how fun is that, right? And it's I think just everything around, the food there, and like when we were lifting in the US, it was we were at the colleges, and I think there was yeah, it's so much bigger. Yeah, you have athletes from all around the world in many crazy sports. They will probably see powerlifting as crazy too. But I think it's everything around that is crazy, and it's cool to be a part of, and that you have to be top three at Worlds as well. I think that is the cool thing about it. But I really hope that now that the classic is in, they try to do it a little better. And it's China, and they're really good at these things. So hopefully it will be amazing as well. I don't think it will be like Sheffield because that's just crazy, but I still think it will be much better. I was at World Games in 2013 as well, and that was yeah quite under Worlds. And now it's maybe a little higher than Worlds, and maybe this time it will be yeah even better. Hopefully,
Yeah, I guess with the growth of everything and the growth of
yeah.
powerlifting as a whole, more people will come and watch that side of it as well. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how it goes. My other question, which was actually my last question, was what the future looks like for you with powerlifting. Like, do you see this as something you're probably going to do for as long as you can for the rest of your life? Do you think it's going to be something you do just while you're still really competitive, or are you just going to go until you don't want to anymore? Like, have you put much thought into your future within powerlifting?
Yeah, me and my wife talk about it all the time. I want to compete for 20, 30 more years. And she's like, let's take 1 year at a time. Because when my kids are getting older, they're going into sports maybe, and they will, yeah, it will take more time. But let's just see. I'm in the first of it. I'm thinking about the next World Games. I want to do that in the 66. Um, I also want to win this year, of course. Weighing light, it's possible to beat Turk, and yeah. So I think about World Games in 4 years, and after that, let's just see. I hope that I can do this for many more years because I've been doing this for all my adult life. I really don't know what should I do. Weigh 140, only eat chips. I think I need something to make me keep on going.
I think as well, as a parent, like I'm not a parent, but like when I see my friends and things that have kids, like I think having something like this that you aim, obviously time dependent, but having something like this that is for you, that they can see you and see the dedication that you have to something like this is going to help them as well to learn those things later in life. Like powerlifting teaches you more than just how to train. Like it teaches you dedication, consistency, discipline, and all of those things, which obviously are the things that you'd want to pass on to your kids. So I guess depending on time, that is something that they would also benefit from seeing you do and potentially want to join in with. You never know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really want them to be big enough to like be at Sheffield maybe one day and to remember it. That would be a really cool thing. So yeah, maybe Sheffield next year or 2 years. Let's see.
How old are your kids now? One's really young, isn't it? aren't they?
Yeah, it's 3 months and 3 years, 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah, so a few more years and then they'll understand a bit more of what's going on, can deal with the noise.
Yeah. Yeah, and the meets are really long as well, right? So yeah, she can sit there for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's fair. So that was all of my questions. You are a coach as well, and I always want to make sure I give you and anyone that comes on a chance to shout out their business and things. So I don't know if you have spaces, but if you do, how can people contact you?
Yeah, I have spaces. You can just contact me at my Instagram, Kjell, and just send me a DM, and then we're manage things. That's cool.
And do you coach equipped and classic or just classic?
I can do both. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me. It's been lovely to meet you and lovely to chat to you. And thank you for coming on. And I mean, I might see if you want to come back on after Sheffield. We'll see.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Brilliant.
We're cool
Thank
after the
you.
win.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me.